Va. Oh, the storm. What is up, Squared Nation, as I run away from the impending storm here in Fortnite? Welcome back to the Four Corners, the official podcast of No Counters, No Combos. Real quick, let me just get to safety. Let me just get to safety here. Let me just get to safety. And we're good. All right, so it's our first time back in a while. It is a little earlier than I planned on starting. I was kind of going to give myself till the school year began, but there's just so much to talk about that I couldn't. Oh, hold on! I'm about to murk this dude. Oh! Hold on. Get some, and then here's a. Wait, am I gonna get Kamehameha right now? Hold on, where are we at here? Oh! Damn, bro. That's a med kit. How am I not dead? Let's go!
That's an NPC.
Oh crap. I need to go, I need to move. Give me this. Okay. I don't even know what I'm doing, which is the worst part. The worst part is I don't even know what I'm doing.
Nope, no clue.
I don't even know what I'm doing. This is literally like my first time playing Fortnite in years. And the only reason I'm doing it is because they added the Dragon Ball characters to it. So, alright, so let's try to get back on track here. So yeah, I was going to wait until the school year started, but there's just way too much stuff going on right now for me to not talk about Dragon Ball. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, hopefully everybody by now has seen Dragon Ball Super Superhero. Because I wanna ask you your thoughts. Now, I will preface this by saying I haven't seen the movie yet myself, but I have pretty much divulged all the spoilers. So at this point, nothing is a surprise to me. So I guess my question to you would be, how did you enjoy it? Is the first question, obviously, and then where would you rank this in the pantheon of Dragon Ball movies?
So, I got lucky. I took a half day off from work today to go take a look at the movie, and I've been excited for a little while. There were like 5 people in my showing because it was 1:30 on a Wednesday, but it was, in my opinion, Dragon Ball in its like most pure form. It was like everything you love about, like, the characters were exactly as you expect them to be. Like, you got to see Gohan being Gohan again. Like, there were so many callbacks to so many different scenes from like earlier in the series, back in Z and in Super. Like, the last shot of Gohan was incredible, because the last shot on Cell to kill Cell Max is a special beam cannon.
Nice.
And Piccolo is holding Cell like Goku held Raditz in
Nice.
the very, very beginning of Z, and he goes, "Take this shot!" Oh my god, it's so good. Like, and the end credit scene was a little fan service moment for all those Vegeta Saiyan Army monkeys out there.
Right.
With Vegeta killing, not killing, but beating Goku in a sparring match for the first time in his whole life, and probably the only time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, I mean, I had so many positive things about it. My only gripe was the very beginning. The sound design was a little weird, but that might have just been the theater I was in. But I found that with a lot of anime movies, that the very beginning the sound seems kind of off, like the volume doesn't seem right.
Okay.
But they smoothed it out. The music was great. The art design was phenomenal. I did not think I would like the 3D animation as much as I did.
Okay.
I definitely would like to see that again, but I definitely don't mind like the Shintani style that they did for the Broly movie, or even like the old style that they'd been doing in the show. But it was just so good, and it opens up so many doors.
So I actually want to touch a little bit on the animation you were talking about. I know it wasn't like popular opinion to change that animation style, but as they started releasing images from the movie and the trailers and stuff, I kind of dig it. Like, I kind of like the it's like a revamped feel. It feels like it's new, even though Dragon Ball's been around for like 30 plus years. So I like the fresh take on it, and you know, for me, what it shows me is that they actually cared about the animation style. They took risks and they wanted to try and bring you a different but still enjoyable experience. And obviously, it paid off because I think it was the number one anime opening of all time. So obviously, we're not going to be able to argue with them at this point because what risks they took paid off. So
yeah, and I think a lot of it, when it came to the art style, is it gives them so much more flexibility when it comes to the actual fight scenes. The choreography was awesome. Like, a lot of something that gets lost in a lot of fast-paced anime fights, and something I've noticed is not consistent through all anime, especially recently, is things are moving so fast that you can lose track of what's going on. There wasn't a single point in time, and I am slower than snail dung.
Nice.
But the fact that I didn't lose track of the action at any point was just so refreshing. Like, I knew exactly where they were on the battle. Like, you could tell, like, it wasn't just frantic, but it was still like that fast-paced Dragon Ball, all gas, no brakes, and the fact that there was a well thought out story and it was perfect for what they wanted to do with it. I'm sure they weren't trying to be groundbreaking, but it was great. It was really, really, really great.
Well, I'm glad that you're giving the stamp of approval because I haven't seen it yet. But obviously, I'm still gonna go see it. I know it's something that you want to experience in the theater and stuff like that. So I'm all for that. And just a quick shout out. I think this is Josh in chat. He's saying that it was very lighthearted, wholesome, and fun, and it was vivid. And the animation injected life into the scenes, which is what I felt like is what they were going for anyway. They were trying to do something different because, a lot of the times when you have these IPs, and it's not just Dragon Ball. I mean, you could say Marvel and DC. If it's not broken, don't fix it. So they don't put themselves in a position where they're going to take a lot of different risks. So the fact that they're doing that, and they have to build upon the lore of Dragon Ball and attract a newer audience, because for the most part, what's up, Josh? For the most part, a lot of Dragon Ball fans who have been watching the series for a long time, we're like grown-ups now. So you have to bring in the new, younger audience, and the only way to do that is to, make things look new and updated. So I really do think that that's what they were going for, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
The main thing about Dragon Ball Superhero is that I think it's not a Goku and Vegeta led movie. Dragon Ball has always kind of pigeonholed itself with their protagonists. I mean, they have such an array of interesting characters that they just kind of, I don't want to say ignore, but they don't utilize enough. And I think that this is going to be the first dive into that with this movie. A lot of Gohan fanboys out there, like myself, I'm sure will be happy. A lot of Piccolo fanboys out there, the best anime dad ever, I'm sure will be happy. So I'm glad that they took risks, and I'm glad that those risks paid off. But for those who haven't been able to see it yet, you should definitely, go check it out. Obviously, it's going to be available on probably some type of streaming service in the near future. But, from what I'm hearing, it is an experience that you want to have in the theater, just for the sheer size of it all. Because even though it is a Dragon Ball movie, from what I've seen and from what I've read, there is a lot of weight to it. There's a good structure. It's actually like an actual movie as opposed to like there's a first, second, and third act. It's not just like, oh, here you go, have all, it's just, it's actually structured well and put together. So definitely go check it out.
Like, there's character growth from newer stuff, and like it really it makes like all those people playing Gamma. I was not a fan of that. for me, it's just not a fun play style.
Mm-hmm.
But it gives that deck like a cool point of view.
Mm-hmm.
As someone who's now seen the movie, like it's just awesome. And for I think the biggest callback for me watching that movie was watching Gohan transform at the very end. You get to that Beast Gohan, and it's that same black screen, red snap. Like the second that 16 died in the Cell Saga, it's that same just intensity and that like, it was just. I felt like a kid watching that movie.
Well, that's good. I mean, obviously, we're talking about transformations, and we're talking about iconic moments in the original anime that we've all seen. Everybody remembers where they were the first time Gohan transformed into Super Saiyan 2. Everybody remembers where they were. I remember being, coming home from school and sitting down in front of the TV and watching Toonami and watching that episode and just being like, holy crap, he just did it. And then it was just like, where do you go from here? And look at where we're at now. It's kind of insane, actually, the evolution that Dragon Ball has taken and where it's at right now. It's almost a little bit unsettling because, we thought Gohan Super Saiyan 2 was going to be peak like power, and now it's like dwarfed by so much. But the fact that they made that callback and they kind of brought everything back full circle and gave him his day in the sun, I think was really cool. So I'm glad to see that. The only thing, I guess the only selfish problem I have is that the villain was not who I expected it to be. Like, I knew it was going to be Cell, right? But selfishly, I wanted it to be Perfect Cell just because of the history that's there. I think it would have just made for a more, I don't want to say, for like a better dynamic, just the history between the two characters. Obviously, Cell was, the big bad back when Gohan had his, his moment. He cost him his father's life and all this other stuff. So I think it would have been really interesting to see that. But I guess maybe there's room for that down the road. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen, the actual movie itself yet. But we'll see what happens. I mean, nothing's ever dead in anime or comics. So we'll see what happens.
No, not at all.
So, where do you think they go from here in regards to starting the anime back up?
So, I am praying that they animate Moro and Granola. I think those arcs have been done. I know a lot of people are split on Moro, and a lot of people are split on Granola. I've loved both of those, and they were both written awesomely, and they were just so much fun to experience. And I would love to see those fights animated. And also, my biggest question is, where on God's green earth on the timeline does this movie place? Because we don't know, and no one's confirmed anything. Because there's right after Broly, which would make a little bit of sense, except for the fact that Goten and Trunks are basically grown adults now. Except then, so then is it after Moro and Granola? Okay, but then why didn't we see any hints of Vegeta or Goku having any, semblance of memory of those fights? Those fights left a massive impact on the world.
Right.
So, it's the question of where does it lie, and I think the smart place to put it is directly after Broly, because but the issue that causes is Gohan and Piccolo were both heavily involved in the end of the Moro arc. So they've kind of put themselves in a messy spot. So I hope they figure that out and that we do see Moro animated, because especially that arc was just so exciting, and it felt like there were actual stakes throughout.
Okay.
So that's where I'd like to see it.
So Dylan just commented in the chat. He thinks the general consensus is it's post-Moro, pre-Granola. But just to take it a step further, right? I feel like they can kind of do whatever the hell they want.
Oh, they absolutely
because I don't think that Dragon Ball's strong suit has never really been continuity. You know, like it's never really been like, oh, you know, we have to do this because, you know, it makes sense. Like it's never really been like that. So I feel like they can kind of just say, okay, well, we'll let the manga have its own legs, and then we'll just kind of take it from here and you know do what we have to do. Just mark this fool real quick. Let's go. And they'll just kind of let it have its own. I don't want to say identity, and I know I don't want to say timeline either, but I don't think that they're going to be too concerned about tying the two of them together. So, I don't know. It doesn't make sense that Gohan has this, you know, power that we know nothing about, and he's just going to be thrust into the, you know, the anime just like nothing, like kind of like the cop out that they did in Broly with Goku forgetting how to unlock Ultra Instinct. Like, come on. So, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of work that in, but we're still going to enjoy it no matter what happens, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna watch regardless. I'm not gonna like boycott the anime if
yeah, of course.
animate Moro and Granola. Am I gonna be a little bummed? Sure, but I'm sure they're gonna come up with something fun. I mean, Universe 6, like as a start to the original content in Super, was an absolute blast. Like seeing Beerus's brother. Speaking of Beerus, I don't know how spoilery you've gotten, but Beerus has a type.
I know every single thing that happens in the movie. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, Beerus has a type.
Beerus has a type, and I guess Chilai has a home now, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's just all I'm going to say on that. But I'm beyond excited to see where they go, and you know, to transition us a little bit with this into the card game.
Sure.
Whenever they put Final Gohan in an archetype, please make it red.
Oh
Bandai.
yeah, no, it's not gonna be red. Stop.
Make it red.
No, stop.
But once they make that deck red, I'm gonna be satisfied. But until then, I am going to be playing the absolute crap out of Red SS4.
Right, so let's perfect segue. Thank you for doing that. Let's get right into that. Oh. So, you know, I don't even. So it's upon us. It's coming. Like it's basically almost here. Okay, and Zenkai is shaping up to be. Ooh, my accuracy sucks. Zenkai is shaping up to be. I don't want to say one of the best sets, but it's definitely looking like it's going to be a monumental set. And what I mean by that is, not only is it introducing a new game mechanic, but some of these cards that they're printing are kind of really strong. So I wanted to see what you thought about certain things. And are we in trouble, or are we okay? As far as like being too broken.
So the only thing that I am in the least bit worried about right now is just power creep in general, like where they're gonna go next set. I think this is a phenomenally done set. Oh, and Turning the Tide and Zeno Super Combo just need to be dealt with because coming soon Goku reboot, plus that new secret rare, the fact that you could spend all of your energy and then go, okay, I'm going to play this and then start my turnover is wild. A lot of people are like, well, why would you play it over Baby Hatch? I'm like, that's why. Because Blue has enough defense to survive, and you could just Turning the Tide. You could Turning the Tide twice if you really wanted to.
Right.
But, you know, you shuffle your hand back in regardless.
Right.
But for them to release so many powerful archetypes besides Blue is just so cool. And I think all of them have shown pretty much playability, especially the starter decks, all of which are really, really cool. But I think the game is going to be in a phenomenal spot as long as they handle the ban limit errata list well, which we'll hopefully get on Friday.
I just Kamehameha Darth Vader. I need you guys. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I just Kamehameha Darth Vader. Like, what is going on? Oh my god. I need to Nimbus. Okay, cool. Dude, what is this? Hold on, I'm sorry. This is real life. Let's go! Get wrecked, Darth Vader! Oh my god, that was the coolest thing ever. I'm so sorry, chat. Let's get back on track. I'm so sorry, chat. Okay.
Oh my god.
So, I understand what you're saying about power creep, and I get the concerns, but I mean,
it's a small that's a nitpicky concern.
It kind of has to happen though. Like, you know, if you are making new cards and new stuff, and you're not, I don't want to say power creep. Black is being shafted. Look at Ansh. Ansh, you just got that 30k Broly. That is disgusting. I don't want to hear it, bro. I don't want to hear it, bro. Yeah, he can kick rocks with that. Oh no, the storm!
I will say black shroom and black shroom
they
and salsa
are
does look trash.
they are bad. Like, they are super bad. I mean, the SR is nice.
The SR is sweet, but
yeah,
the rest of the cards?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I mean, I think they're just like, listen, I think we've ruined everyone's lives with like Xeno Gogeta and so many other things that we just need to nerf this color.
Listen, Xeno Gogeta was innocent. Vegex did all the harm.
Nah, dude, come on, stop. Xeno Gogeta got the banhammer like indirectly like twice, and it was still OP. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that noise from you. But, you know, that kind of worries me on a side note, because they're like, okay, let's make black terrible so that we can make it broken again in 2 more sets.
Oh, it's exactly what's going to happen. I give it 2.5 sets. They're going to release an expansion that's going to have all of the good black cards, and, yeah, no. The Xeno Gogeta is going to be back. They're going to reboot the leader. It's going to draw 2 on every fusion, and it's going to warp 7 cards at once.
That would just not be fun. That would not be fun. But yeah, back to what we were talking about, power creep, right? Like I was saying, like, I feel like it has to happen at some point, because you're not going to. Man, this guy's like really stubborn. You're not going to sell product if it's not worth buying.
Right.
Right.
And it needs to be.
Right. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's kind of like a catch-22, where you're like, okay, well, what just happened? Okay, so I'm on Nimbus now. It's so hard to. Listen. We've done a couple of these already with these tangents, but I just want to stress how difficult it is to focus on this conversation while I'm playing anything that requires me to pay attention to. So, oh look, Kame House. This is just really cool. Anyway, I was looking at some of the older cards, you know, from sets 1, 2, 3, whatnot, and it's apparent that power creep has, you know, I want to say
become the norm.
Yes, and if you look at cards like what's a good example, Matt? Come on, you're the
breaks on Goku.
Okay, that's fair. But
like, even talk about that card was like a wild SR, and it's just, you know, it was power crept, and that's okay. I have no problem with power creep. I just think they're going to have to be very, very careful with Z cards specifically.
Right.
Because when you get into the realm of consistency, I think 7 cards is a great amount, because you can't have too many. Oh, I'm gone. Sorry, I just cracked a 75-yard touchdown.
Do it, baby. Do it.
Gone.
He gone.
Wow, you were right. It's hard to pay attention.
It's so hard. It's so hard.
But I think when it comes to the Z deck, they're going to have to be very careful, because Rush Attack as SB Vegeta, how are you going to make a card that's better than that? That's really where I'm at. I mean, red is ridiculous this set. Anch is right. Red is wild, and I'm very happy as a red player.
Right.
But I mean, you can't look at Rush Attack Vegeta and go, wow, that card's not good, and it's going to get power crept fast, because if that card gets power crept, red is just going to remain the best color forever, and I'm not complaining, but people will complain.
Yeah.
So
it has to be power crept. There has to be power creep, but there has to be a balance in what you kind of creep out. So
in that respect, what I think will happen is they're gonna. So this is gonna be one of those blocks like where, except it's gonna be like, and you're gonna laugh. It's gonna be like Cross Spirits, but good.
Okay, that's fair.
Where Cross Spirits really, really wanted you to Spirit Boost, except Spirit Boost was a bad skill. This set really, really, really wants you to use Zenkai, except Zenkai is really, 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 really good.
Okay, I agree with Zenkai being a huge like buff to the game. Like just the idea of
making combos count is awesome.
Not only that, but like having a pile that starts outside of the game that doesn't take up spots in your deck slots, and you having access to those cards to help you essentially win the game. That's kind of gross. So, you know, everybody's going to make the comparison to Yu-Gi-Oh! And their extra deck, but I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! Uses their extra deck more as a toolbox as opposed to a win con. Now, I could be totally wrong. I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh! In a very, very long time, but the last time I played Yu-Gi-Oh!, most of my extra deck cards were like combo extenders. Whether it was synchro climbing or link climbing or whatever, I was going through and burning cards in my extra deck to do that. So Zenkai, you know, the extra deck for the Zenkai seems like it's like, okay, well, when I start playing these cards, it's going to give me a very large advantage and help me, you know, take my opponent out. And it's not something that they could very easily stop, because most of these Zenkai cards have deflect, if I'm not mistaken. But
most, yes.
Oh man, Kamehameha, baby. Go! Get! Oh my god, it's so cool. It's so rewarding. It is so Matt, you have to play. You have to play this, dude. It is so rewarding. Oh, I'm getting destroyed. Oh, this dude has a shotgun. Chill, bro.
See, he's out of key, but he ain't out of options.
Yeah, bro. Don't mess with Goku with an assault rifle, baby. Y'all ain't ready.
Oh my god. The funniest clip I've seen is the fighter event intro where Frieza kills Krillin. He goes, "Now I'm mad," and instead of turning Super Saiyan, he just whips out an AK.
Oh, I need to kill this person. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go with the 1v1.
Hey.
All right. Time to get back on track. I feel like we're doing a disservice to anybody who's watching.
This is the most off track we've gotten at. This is the most viewers we've had in a couple of weeks.
All right, let me get
Oh
going here.
God.
All right. The one card that I really wanted to talk about was the multicolor Gogeta, the black and red one.
Oh yeah.
That card, I think that card is a problem. And it's a problem before it's even out. Go ahead if you want to elaborate on it.
So that card does so many different things.
Yeah.
It's bananas. But the reason I like how they printed that card is it's the way you have to play it. Because it will punish bad players for not planning. For example, it's punished me a couple of times in testing.
Mm-hmm.
So for anyone that doesn't know what the card does, activate main limit 1 for 3 colorless. 3 colorless. If your leader card is a red or a black Saiyan, and there are 3 or more red or black Saiyan cards in your energy and or battle area.
Mm-hmm.
That's the important part.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's say you open on a couple of extra cards and you charge one of those. Your opponent can very, very easily read that you're going to pay 3 on 3 for this card, and go, alright, I'm not going to let you play a battle card, so you can't land this card.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of different ways that you can work to make sure it doesn't hit the board. However, when it does hit the board, this card is a walking win con, because it gives your leader an extra 5k until the start of your next main phase, so a bean.
Mm-hmm.
It warps a card from your opponent's hand and minus 30s 2 cards on your opponent's board. That is... And it's got Deflect and Double Strike. And of course Energy Exhaust, it's red and black, but I think the biggest balancing point for this card is the fact that you need to be very careful with your charges.
Mm-hmm. And
it's a multicolor card in most of which are going to be monocolor decks, and the fact that it's a 10k.
So... The first time I saw this card, I immediately thought of SS4 Bardock, and then I read the card, and I was just like, okay, so mono red. Because this card is this card is kind of like, everyone's freaking out about, like the Gogeta, like the other one, like I think it's the it's like an 8-drop, right? The other Gogeta, the other SR for the red deck.
Oh, yeah, it's an 8-drop.
Yeah, so everyone's talking about that,
8-drop
but
for 4.
I saw this and I was just like,
Card's not
dude,
that broken. People are overreacting.
This card, it just does so much, and it's just like, why is it a multicolor card? Because most red decks are going to play this, and then red is going to get access to black energy. So it's going to...
No, that's not... No one... Mm-mm. So the reason I say I would say no to red getting access to black energy is because it would put you... So there is no red-black checkland. Right. So if you're charging this card, you are playing a full turn behind. And there's no reason to, like if we get, like, a red-black arrival, this card will probably get banned. But we won't, and I don't think they're going to release black multi-checklands because we have SS4 Bardock.
But we don't know that. We don't know that.
That's very fair. But I think the reason that this card is actually kind of good for the game is it opens up Bandai to go, okay, we're going to print this kind of card for almost every color. Like, for example, and people are like, oh, these cards aren't comparable. I mean, that's because colors are different, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like no joke. Of course, cards in different colors are going to be different.
Right.
So I'm going to pull up that post where they revealed the Gogeta. Because they revealed a couple different cards. For example, shout out to shout out to Andrew Duvall for printing the most absolutely busted blue card ever printed.
The Harugon, you think it's broken like that?
I'm gonna read this card out loud. Energy Exhaust, Deflect Unique, 8-drop. We're gonna start with the Activate Battle, which is how you play the card.
Mm-hmm.
For 2 blue and 1 colorless, 2 blue and 1 colorless. If there are 2 or more blue and or green cards in your battle area and or combo area, play this card from your hand. When this card attacks, choose one. Your opponent ditches a card to the top of their deck, so you stunt their next draw. If your leader card is a blue Phantom Demon card, play up to 1 blue or green Hirudegarn with a cost of 6, 7, or 9, which sets up your entire loop if you're playing a Hirudegarn deck. If not, you're just going to rip a card from your opponent's hand. Right. It's a 30k. Then you can blow up one of your own battle cards and ramp a card once per turn. That is ridiculous for 3 energy.
I mean,
it's not broken,
no,
but it is strong.
I mean, it's good for the deck. Like, okay, like no disrespect to Doval. I respect the hell out of that guy, but is anybody going to play Hirudegarn?
You don't need to play it in Hirudegarn. You can put this card in any blue deck. Android 16 gets an absolute, like, it doesn't need to run that 2-drop anymore. I think it probably still will, and it won't touch this, but, like, Android 21, there are other blue-green decks that are not coming to mind right now, but blue decks, period, have now access to this. Like, I think this makes Soul Striker ridiculously relevant.
Okay, no, I get it, but you're not you're not getting the full capacity of his effects if you're not playing a Phantom Demon or a blue or green Hirudegarn, right?
I mean, it's an option. You can just choose to stunt your opponent's next draw. It's a choose one.
I don't know. You know what? I'm probably like wrong on this, but
the play it can go both ways because the play a card is really, really good, but if you're not playing the Phantom Demon stuff, you're still stunting your opponent's next draw. Like, think about it like this: like, you're now turn 3 and forward, your hand is going to be very important unless you're SS4 and you have 17 cards in your hand. So now you're forcing your opponent to make a choice to put a card on the top of their deck that might not end up in there. You might not see another new card.
Right.
So, like, for that, because that was huge back in the day with OG Hirudegarn.
Yeah. No, I get the time walk aspect of it. Like, I get...
Like, that's super good. And just the fact that you can blow up a battle card, like, you got to think how cheap Blue plays their stuff, and they get their energy back so easily.
Right.
To blow up one card and just get a ramp every turn.
Right.
Is just, it's so good.
I don't know. Maybe I'm dumb. I just don't see it. But, hey, listen. That's what everybody else is here for, right? Like, prove people wrong, right?
Absolutely. So I want to get on to this Android 18. It's another three cost play. Arrival blue green, 1 blue, 1 green, 1 colorless. It's a check land. So if your leader card is a blue android, straight up negate the energy exhaust skill, which is awesome. When this card is played, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and up to one card in your opponent's hand and bottom deck. Blue bottom decking is great. People are like, this card sucks because it doesn't have deflect. I'm like, you're playing blue-green, your opponent's not going to have any cards in your hand if you're playing it right.
Right.
You can discard it from your hand and search out one blue android with a cost 5 or less. So it can search itself if it needs to, which, I mean, that would be silly to discard it and search itself, but there are a ton of strong androids that you can search with that card, and it's a 25k crit swing. Awesome. This cooler, I think, besides the Gogeta, is the best card revealed in this little batch.
No, you're wrong. I know which one's the best one. I'll talk about it right after this one.
If you're about to say the red-green card, you're a man after my own heart. But it's just not. It doesn't have any protection.
No, it is. That's the best one, man.
The card is so good.
That's the best one.
You need to switch an Earthling card to rest mode.
Bro, that's the best one, dude. That's the best one. Arrival, red, green, 1 green. If your leader is green, this card gains power equal to the battle card, switch to rest mode, and if you switch an Earthling card. Bro, this screams.
It makes me so happy as an OG red-green guy. You know how I was stoked when I saw this.
This is the best card, dude.
It has 0 protection, and it costs a green energy.
So what? You play this in Videl where you're always comboing and have Earthlings? You just do that, bro.
Are you playing red-green Videl?
Why not? Well, first of all, you don't need to play red-green Videl. You could just play green Videl and use Nappa super combos.
I mean, fair. But I think
and your skill lists are Earthlings.
This is true. I think it can be good. I think it'll probably be very good in launch as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think the card's like groundbreaking. I think it's awesome, and as a red-green player, it's like, wow, I love this. This is what I've wanted for years. But
that's the best card, bro. That's the best card.
So, in my opinion, I like this cooler a lot because it's a check land. For a red or a blue.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
When your opponent places a card from their deck and drop, play this card. It is not unique. That is not a limit 1 auto. When this card attacks, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets minus 15k. So, you're going to play the card, get a swing, hit another card on their board, get another mill, and then you can do it again if you have more in hand. Because that is not a limit 1 skill.
Right. That's fair.
So if you have 3 of these in hand, and you have 3 red-blue energy open, and then probably an energy for Bean because you're playing red-blue, you can go swing, trigger, swing, trigger, swing, trigger, bean, 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 swing, coolers. And then you win the game.
I mean, listen, so we have to look at this 2 ways, right? We're looking at it in theory on paper, and then we're looking, and then you have to look at what's actually going to be played. Do you think, aside from the Gogeta, because I know the Gogeta is going to see a ton of play, but like moving into this new series where, yes, they did reveal some multicolor cards, but the mechanics and all that other stuff lean heavily towards being monocolored, how often are these cards going to see play is really what's going to come down to it.
So I think the Hirudegarn is going to see play a ton because I think just hand disruption period is really, really good, and I think the ramp is going to be very effective because blue is still going to stay good. I think the 18 will probably see moderate play. I think Cooler Mill is a phenomenal choice with how much some of these decks draw cards. So I think that deck will always be rogue, and it will always be strong. The Bardock, I'm not even going to talk about. I'm not even going to entertain that. The Goku, I mean, if launch doesn't get, like, I know a couple of people think the launch SRs are going to get, like, errated or something or banned, or I doubt they will.
I don't think so.
I think if launch and Videl are played, they'll do pretty good. I don't like believing in 5 to 10k leaders.
Okay. That's
because it's an advantage thing. It is. I'm very deckist.
You have no faith, bro. You haven't gotten clapped by Launch or Videl in a while, probably.
I have got not in a while. I haven't seen those decks since I left, but I think that the way the landscape of the format's going to shape, I think those decks are going to struggle, especially with red going, I'm going to pay 4 for this Gogeta that you can't combo. That you have to combo over, and you're going to have to combo an extra card because you're lower. So I think those kinds of leaders are going to struggle just with red being a gatekeeper in the format. But I think besides that, these reveals have been unbelievable outside of Black and Blue.
Real quick, before we get... just real quick, shout out to Brian. What's up, Brian? Brian's in chat. And also Dylan, thank you for... Dylan said that the Kid Goku's probably going to be best played in Broly Surge, so that's right up your alley.
Before talking my language.
Before we move on to our next topic of conversation, for those of you who are watching the live stream, can I ask you guys a question? Why, when you're doing these emotes on Fortnite and Goku goes from Super Saiyan Blue to Ultra Instinct, like, why does he lose his shirt? Like, why does his clothes just get torn off? It makes no sense. This guy is fully decked out, and then all of a sudden goes Ultra Instinct, and now the man has no shirt. Anyway, I want to talk about Daddy, and what I mean by Daddy is I want to talk about Piccolo. A lot of people are trashing my boy and saying that it's just meh, and like, oh, you know, the Ape deck is better, or the Bardock deck is better, and you know what? You're probably right. But I am a sucker for bad cards and bad decks.
You're probably right.
So, like, but you know what? Like, in all honesty, like the front side of the Piccolo, you know, when on swing, discard a card, and then top 5 for a yellow card. The fact that it's not limited to battle cards, you could add anything, any yellow. You could add a unison, you could add an extra card, you can add a battle card, you could add anything with the top 5. Like, what that reminds me of is back in the day, in a Tournament of Power days, was Yellow U7 Frieza. Yellow U7 Frieza gained all that passive advantage by being able to add cards that were just Universe 7 marked, and it didn't matter what color restriction. So this is kind of similar to that. Yes, you do have to swing, so you're interacting with your opponent. That's the more balancing act of it. But being able to discard cards that you want in your drop to use with your skills, and then dig for another card that you might need, I don't understand how that's bad.
So, I don't think the deck is bad. I think it is slightly, if not a little more than slightly, worse than Bardock, and I think Monkey Q is by far the best yellow deck that they've revealed, and that's okay. I think this Piccolo deck has the potential to be very strong, if only because all of its evolves come from drop. And that is awesome.
That's the point I'm trying to make, is that
it is not a yellow Saiyan, which means it loses out on one of the best yellow cards in the game in Turles All Too Easy.
Well, it's fine.
I think it is fine, but I think that it is going to be very, very harmed by decks that are going to remove their Z battle cards and remove their pans. I think barrier removal is going to be this deck's nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, Brian hit the nail on the head. He said, if I like it, you know it's bad. Or you know it can't be good, which is true. He's very right. I tend to like things that aren't the greatest, but I don't know, man. I think there's something there, dude. Like the leader might not be that great, but that SR, that 8-drop Gohan, that guy is kind of gross. And the fact that
the SR is phenomenal.
Yeah, the fact that his play skill like gets reduced by the Z battle card and all that other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's pretty... I don't know, dude. Like, basically, like, all I'm trying to say is for all those people out there who are looking forward to this archetype, like, let people sleep on it, because then you know what? The cards are going to be super cheap to get. Dirt cheap. Gohan doesn't have an SPR. At least I don't think he does.
We haven't seen yellow SPRs yet, I don't think. Actually.
Oh, so he's probably going to get one.
Did they just skip those? No, that's got to be a movie thing. Like, they're trying to let the movie circulate.
The movie's...
we didn't see yellow.
The movie's out.
We definitely have not seen yellow. This is true. We definitely did not see yellow SPRs, and they just went right to black.
I wouldn't mind not having yellow SPRs, because then it makes everything even easier to get.
No, it makes stuff harder to get. There are less copies.
Yeah, but nobody's...
Think about steadfast assistance.
Who cares, bro? Like... What? It's just the Gohan in the pan, right? It's just the Gohan in the pan.
The SRs.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, you need both of those. Those cards are cracked.
Oh yeah, you need both of those.
Those cards are cracked.
Yeah, those are the only SRs.
All right, so we talked about that. I don't want to talk about more yellow stuff. I want to talk about your boy here. I want to talk about your red boy.
Okay, so I want to just preface this by saying I am 110% biased. So, and it's and it's okay. I know you guys will forgive me, but this deck is so much fun, and it is ridiculous how many cards you get to hold in your hand. So I want to just walk you guys through what a normal turn 3 in this deck looks like. You're right around 12 cards in hand, like most red decks in the format are right around turn 3. You're gonna free play a card, draw a card. Then you're gonna pay 3 energy for that 8-drop Gogeta that we've been talking about, that multicolored card.
Yeah.
You're gonna rip a card from your opponent's hand and most likely wipe their board. Then you're gonna swing with that Gogeta and combo a card, drawing another card and searching top 3 again for any red Saiyan or a Unison cost 2, which is already on the board. Now, after that, you're going to awaken and play Heartfelt Plea, drawing another 2 cards.
Wait, is that like a thing? Is that like an actual thing? You can actually do that?
It is ridiculously consistent with how many cards you draw. It's on average you're between 12 and 14 cards on turn 3.
Wow. Yikes.
And if you don't have Heartfelt, you're just going to play it off the Z Awaken. If you need to Z Awaken, like the amount of cards you draw between turns 2 and 4, it's almost nauseating. Like your leader swing filters 3 cards. So you're swinging, drawing a card, play a quote unquote 1-drop from your hand, draw another card, combo that card, draw another card, and that's just a normal interaction.
See, now here's the thing. Okay, I love it. I love it. I love the degeneracy. I love the fact that
so much fun.
I love the fact that they're taking the redheaded stepchild of the Dragon Ball franchise in GT and making it the most broken thing ever. But can I ask you a question? Why did they make the Z leader have 100,000 power?
Okay, so I actually have a comment for this. The Z leader's trash.
Yeah, obviously.
It is hot garbage. And listen, I am so sad that it is bad.
He looks cool.
It looks amazing, and it's really fun to like act like you're gonna lose in a game and then go, ha, Z Awaken. Because you can follow up with so many free stuff in red. But I mean, the fact that you need to be at 4 or less, all of your energy needs to be tapped. I mean, that's the worst part because you skip your charge phase.
Yeah, for sure.
So you need to like you can't just do it defensively and then keep your energy up. Like you need to be tapped out. And red has so many good defensive options that you don't need it. But I will say, if your opponent's at 1 life and you've already swung through them a bunch of times, and you swing, you're tapped out, you Z Awaken, it is a fun little feeling. Because you go, okay, I'm going to be at 100. Good luck comboing.
I mean, yeah, I get all that, but it feels like... I mean, Brian makes a good point. It says, no way having a Baby Hatch SCR as a leader is bad. So I get that, but, like, it just feels like a meme. It feels like a meme.
It's very,
it's
like, the deck does so many better things. Like, you could go, like, so that 8-drop Gogeta, for example, the SR in the archetype, triumphant together.
Mm-hmm.
People are saying this card is too broken. People are saying the card is trash. It's actually a really well-balanced card. It's 35k triple striker, 4 energy draw card, red sun Goku Vegeta to Union Fusion, deflect, triple strike, block. This card isn't affected by non-Gogeta GT skills as of right now. That does not include Unisons and extra cards. So, on your opponent's turn, when you pass the turn back to them, they could go, pay 1 max power. Baby Unison. I only named 2, but there are countless ways to get rid of this card. It does not have protection.
No, I don't know, man.
The second part of the card is what makes it kind of busted, because you can't negate its attack, because you can't activate non-super combo card skills when the card's in battle, which is the second it turns sideways. So no negates, no UI commandment, no like IARs, no Realm of the Gods cards, it's super combos, and good luck comboing out.
I guess,
which
bro.
I think is fine with how many cards most decks draw. So, you know, I mean, I think it's really, really strong. I don't want to underplay that, but I think people are complaining about the card and ignoring Sin being the best red archetype we've seen in 3 sets.
So I haven't read anything about Sin on purpose. I'm so sick of Sin Like Yellow Sin,
That's
like
fair.
I'm just so tired of it.
Shout
Like,
out to Graham.
Yeah, shout out to... You know what? No, screw Graham. He can go die in a hole. I don't even care, dude. Like, he needs to stop already. Like, enough is enough, dude. Like, stop. I'm just kidding, Graham. I love
God.
you. But, like,
So
I
want to...
Go ahead.
Oh, man.
Go
So
ahead.
I just want to... So people saying SS4 is really good. I'm gonna read you guys the Sin Leader really quick. This card can attack. You can include up to six Dragon Balls, and you can't include non-red battle cards. Switch this card to rest mode. You search up two balls like any other Wish Leader. Early Awaken when your life's at 4 or less, or you have 6 or more Z energy. You may switch this card and up to 1 of your Z energy to active mode. The Cracked Dragon Ball, which is the Dragon Ball for this deck, you activate it, draw a card, and it goes straight to your Z energy instead of your drop. So you're gonna Early Awaken most turns by turn 2, sometimes on turn 1.
Yeah.
When it swings, draw a card, choose one of your shadow, and then activate main, choose one of your Shadow Dragon battle cards, and up to one battle card or unison on either side of the board. The chosen cards get minus 15k power. The best card in this archetype is the SR, because this thing is a 2-cost deflect triple strike that for 0 energy you can give it crit and barrier.
I guess. I just hate Sin. I just
That's
hate
fair.
it. I hate it. It needs to go. Like, I get it, like,
That's
okay,
fair.
I get it, like, oh, you made a GT, so yeah, what bad guy are you gonna do? But why, give me, like, a red Super 17 or something like that, like...
Well, we got that yellow one that was crap.
Who cares? Exactly, he was crap. Give me a good
fun to
Super
play.
17 bad guy. Come on, dude, like... I feel like, yo, what up,
they
Alan?
could do the Parappa brothers.
Yeah, yes! Oh my god, yes. Yes. Give me that, dude. This guy swimming? I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna play. I mean, I know I'm gonna play Piccolo for sure because it's bad.
Oh, yeah.
I really like
You gotta pick the worst deck in the set.
facts. I really do like the Bardock stuff though. The yellow Bardock stuff I really like. I think it's
very
super
strong.
interesting. I think it's
really, really strong.
and I like how it's kind of low to the ground a little bit, and it gives you that flexibility. It kind of reminds me of like the red Bardock
It's
leader a little bit.
Very, very reminiscent. The crew stuff is at a point where, it's shout out to Hudson. He made this comparison when we were testing earlier this week. It's really reminiscent of U7.
Okay.
In the way that all of these apes come down for 1 energy, and they all have effects. So you kind of spam the board with these monkeys really, really, really wide. I haven't seen him need to use the SR yet.
Interesting.
The SR is really, really strong, but you don't really need it. You kind of just beat people's faces in with giant apes, and then pay through
Nice.
for the secret rare and win the game.
Nice. I mean, that sounds good. That sounds fun. I would do that. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's super strong. And that yellow Z battle card SR, that Son Goku Evolved Defender, that card is bananas. Have you read this thing?
Oh, I just died. Fall damage. I'm so bad. No, I have not.
Okay. SSB Son Goku Evolved Defender. Deflect barrier. 3 with 3 yellow specified. It costs 2 Zenkai energy. When this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's leaders, unisons, or battle cards in rest mode, and it cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. So you're locking a card. If this card is in rest mode, when your opponent plays a card, you may place one of your Z energy in its owner's drop area. If you do, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards or unison cards, switch it to rest mode, and negate the skill for the turn.
Sounds good.
Is pretty strong, and it's a 25k.
It's nice.
Is very nice.
All right, so unfortunately we have to talk about black. So real quick, I'll do it real quick. We're gonna talk about black. We'll go in depth very quick. Begrudging allies is cute. Okay, on to the next topic of conversation.
Cool.
So we talked about the movie. We talked about Zenkai. Now, the one thing I want people to like not forget is this is going into what, the 16th set or the 17th set?
I think it's 18, actually.
All right, so we're a lot of sets. We're a lot of sets in, okay? But there are some hidden gems. I'm getting really close to the mic to say it. We're going to do the ASMR section of the podcast.
Oh, God.
There are some hidden gems in the older sets Okay, so if you have like useless bulk lying around, just double check it, because you never know. With this new mechanic now of charging Z energy after combo, there could be some stuff that we'll see play, like Jocko, for instance, combo with a card. Take a card out of your opponent's combo area. What did you just do? You gave yourself a Z energy and you took your opponent's Z energy away from them. So just, things to look at. I saw some people floating around this Demigra Overwhelm card that allows you to combo with cards in your opponent's hand. I don't think that's going to work, though, because I think like by game mechanic, does it have to hit the drop? Like, where do you charge the Z energy from? Out of combo or out of drop after combo?
It's out of combo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you a card that got revealed for the Gotenks deck that actually sets precedent for that Demigra to work.
Mm-hmm.
It is a green Z battle card Piccolo, if I can find it. It exists, I promise. It's in the starter deck. God, Bandai, why do you sort your reveals like this? Please quit. Here it is. Yeah, okay. Sorry, it's a promo. It's in the Zenkai starter pack. It's a 1 cost, 2 Z energy, 1 green, Piccolo's Master's Teachings. If your leader card is green and has Gotenks in its character's name, and you discard 2 cards from your hand, when this card is played, play a Gotenks Fusion, which is the 3 cost 10k. It's the fat Gotenks.
Okay.
Once per turn, switch this card to rest mode. When you attack with a Gotenks card with an energy cost of 5 or more, choose up to 1 card in your opponent's battle area and use it in a combo in your combo area. What that tells me is that wants you to make your opponent's cards Z energy. Because the precedent being set so far is that Z colors do not matter.
Right.
So I would say that yes, that Demigra does work. I think it's being overrated a tiny bit, but I really like the tech.
So then, if that's the case, then there's also an older card for all you Demigra fiends out there. There's an extra card called Seasoning Arrow that kind of does something similar. It's 1 energy, but basically what you do is you take a card, you look at your opponent's hand, you look at your opponent's hand and you take a card out of their hand, right? So it basically, you can only use it with a Demigra, but you look at their hand, you take a card out of their hand. You could take any card out of their hand. But if you take a battle card out of their hand, you could combo with it. So that's essentially you're gonna get the knowledge from their hand, and
that card really lets you view your hand?
I'm pretty, unless it's just unless you just pick one, and then if it's a battle card, you combo with it.
It's their choice.
Okay.
So if your leader card's a Demigra, it gains 10k power for the turn, or for the duration of the battle. And if it's your turn, so if you use it offensively, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and send it to their warp. Then if that card is a battle card, you can combo with it.
All right, so it's still like hand destruction to warp, which is really strong.
It's neat.
It's cute, it's cute. If we ever get a good Demigra like leader, it might see play. Who knows? But like stuff like that, like go through your bulk, go through your shoe boxes of cards that you have just kind of thrown around, or visit DBS Deck Planet. You can actually sort cards on DBS Deck Planet by set and just look through them. There's a couple of extra cards that are really interesting too, like Mafuba. Mafuba's really interesting because Z battle cards are treated like battle cards in the battle area. So cards like Mafuba, cards like Group Leader Peel-Off, like these are going to be cards bro, don't even get me started on Peel-Off, bro. These are cards that haven't seen play in ages, but people are going to revisit them, and they're going to be blowout cards because no one's going to know what to expect.
Yeah, and it's so interesting that like the fact that these Z cards they do so much, and I like the fact that comboing smart is a great part of the game now, and like you get even more reward for it. It's awesome.
I mean, like, I think we talked about this once a while back, and we're just gonna wrap it up here quick with this thought. Just real quick, thanks to everybody who commented in chat: Dylan, Alan, Josh, Brian, everybody who's been watching. I really do appreciate it. We're gonna go live again next week too. It'll be a little more organized because I won't be distracted by Fortnite. But just this closing thought: Dragon Ball's individuality is defined by the combo step. there are a lot of different card games that have very similar mechanics. You know, like the charging system or the mana system in Magic. You know, there's a lot of different aspects of Dragon Ball that are you can clearly see have been pulled from other games. The most unique thing about Dragon Ball has always been the combo step. So now that you're taking that to the next level and you're utilizing you're utilizing a mechanic in your game that gives you your identity from everybody else and capitalizing on the fluidity of that, it's really nice to see Bandai kind of going back to their roots. Because I feel like the combo step has always just been offensive, defensive. And now the Z energy is adding another layer to that. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays into the strategy of these games moving forward. So any closing thoughts that you want to get across there, bud, before we head out?
Mainly just like everyone keep your eyes on that rulebook update. Things are going to change. I doubt almost anything is going to go untouched in that rule update. So if you play like, a weird rogue deck that has some weird interactions, keep an eye out because odds are stuffs is being changed. Like that rule, it's a full rulebook update. So keep an eye on that because it is going to most likely change a ton. And as it stands, Zenkai is going to do a lot for DBS.
As it stands. As it stands. Anyway, we'll talk about banlist stuff next week. I don't want to get into banlist stuff right now. So we'll talk about banlist stuff next week.
Reveal it on Friday.
That's fine. We'll have fodder for it for next week. But we're going to get on out of here. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. And please hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything No Counters, No Combos. We really do appreciate the support, and we'll see you guys next time. Be there or be squared.
Year.